Hey, all you politicals out there in the tubosphere, welcome to the POLIT'AI CHI, where the center left meets the center right. What do I mean by that? Well, in this episode, we don't have too much time to go into that, but the first reference of the Tai Chi, not the martial art, is right here. The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, and I'm going to prove it to you. Right there, in its first graphical representation. So, center left, center right, you know, where the parties meet in the center is where the truth lies, as you've heard of that phrase. And both parties are guilty of going too far to one extreme or the other. Enough said. This episode, what we're talking about is the Dick Morris bit coming up. So you may be saying, who? All I remember is General Petraeus and Paula this. What's her nipple nuts down there in Tampa and General Allen? Right. I mean, this guy seems to have a little bit of karma going on. I said, I refuse to let all of you forget about it in the month of November, the voting month, given how the election went down. Alright, so the upcoming video clip order is to remind you of what Mr. Morris was saying before the election, why it provides a little bit of a humorous material. SNL hasn't done anything with it, so we decided to, in the spirit of the late, great, God rest his soul, Chris Farley. Now, I know I couldn't pull this off as good as he could have. You know, he would have pulled this off so well, it would have been a 4-year running bit, assuming he would have been there, and assuming he would have been there for that long. Alright, and also you have to remember, I'm 6'3" and 240. You know, so I had to sort of shrink myself up and so forth. To portray, how can I say in a nice way, the George Costanza appearance of a 5'5", 5'8", Mr. Morris. That's what it looks like. I mean, and the only reason I tried to do this was because of the Jim Carrey side of my personality, one, and I could do his voice pretty good, number two. And number three, SNL hasn't done it because of all the other stuff that's happened since. And the skit follows in suit, so stay tuned. It's coming up soon. I'm going to talk maybe for 30 more seconds. The bit, not only do you get the full bit, because SNL don't own it, the OMSR does, with a little bit of brief courtesy to MSNBC and vis-a-vis through, no, there's no SNL bits that I showed through that. Maybe a little bit of Fox News. This show is copyright to the OMSR or the POLIT'AI CHI vis-a-vis the DCMA, Digital Copyright Millennium Act. The OMSR does not own the brief video highlights through the news clips that we show you to remind you who Dick Morris is. But we do own all the other original content and the overall concept, especially to this show, herein, thereof, therefore, most rights reserved. And then after that, we show a little vignette of how we took the background that Mr. Morris seems to be fond of on Dick Morris TV and sort of phased out his George Costanza appearance so that we could have our own background. But again, at 6'3", 240, very hard to fit in that, so I put myself in the foreground and had that as the background. Alright? So, oh, and by the way, all commentary is going to go through the gatekeepers, so keep it nice. We're willing to allow a little bit of criticism to come through. Like, I don't know, the best that I think maybe, what am I thinking of right now? You know, why don't you go back to that garbage can that you came out of before you thought you were funny? No, that's funny. Yeah, that actually is funny. But anything beyond that, don't even bother. It's not going to happen. Alright. Humorous clip, all of Dick Morris is performed by the POLIT'AI CHI, and go.
Their narrative was, the numbers are skewed. Expect a Romney upset, or in the case of Dick Morris, a Romney landslide, and no one was adamantly as wrong as Dick Morris.
One idiot who writes for Newsweek magazine actually said that there was a possible Obama landslide coming. My goodness. Well, on Friday I looked at the real poll numbers by an organization that I can't name, but I trust it. We're going to win the Senate. I think that the media is perpetrating this gigantic fraud, which is to say that Romney is foot in the mouth, that he's gaffe-prone, that he keeps screwing things up, that he's trailing.
So you are standing by your prediction of a Romney landslide?
Absolutely. Romney will win this election by 5 to 10 points in the popular vote and will carry more than 300 electoral votes.
All right.
Good evening, Dick. All right, Dick, what do you think?
We're going to win by a landslide. It will be the biggest surprise in recent American political history.
Come on, Dick. Tell us what that polling outfit was. Is it safe to say that he is the worst political pundit ever? Let's see what he had to say for himself today.
Hi. I thought Obama would be buried in a landslide. Instead, I've been in a bit of a mudslide on my face. And sorry about that.
Alright everyone, so we have on today the POLIT'AI CHI, Dick Morris.
Well, thanks for having me, I think. I'm not too sure about this new thing called YouTube, but we'll see if some of my advisors were correct in reaching what the Democrats call young voters, hence the Oakleys, or what I like to call off the record, dummy voters.
Okay, starting off on the right foot again, I see. I mean, let's start again if we could. I mean, you have to be a little bit relieved that you have escaped the SNL treatment, given all the other stuff that's gone on post-election, Mr. Morris.
Oh my goodness. Some idiot who writes for SNL, I believe Lorne Michaels' name, I heard through my channels, was talking about how my predictions would make for great material. I mean, it's a serious business, the business of politics, and I find nothing humorous in that. It's kept me up at night since the election. I mean, look at all the weight I've lost.
I mean, you know, now that you mention it, you do kind of look a little better, but, I mean, these channels you speak of, it's okay. Would that be Fox News? I mean, how would anybody there find any of this funny? How would they know about up-and-coming SNL?
No. That's why it is the one cable news network that you can take seriously, if not to the bank.
All right. You know, it kind of sounds like you just said CNN's moniker.
CNN. Now, what do they know about monkeys? My agent will fix that in case they do.
All right. You know, I think on that note, it's time to the last question. For the last question, you know, don't you see how your predictions were shooting for the moon?
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. And the reality was here on Earth. And your, you know, predictions of a factor of, or shall we say, of these real polls, is humorous at a minimum? Makes for comedic material? Mr. Morris?
You young people, with your colorful metaphor and out of context, you even know what a metaphor or a context is. Look, these real polls are not imaginary, and there were many conditions that went in to produce a factor of, and therefore it cannot be referred to as but rather a factor of. I don't expect you and your audience of two, if you're lucky, to understand the complicated nature of this kind of advanced math in political circles. The door is always open at Dick Morris TV.
Okay. No, I don't think math is the issue here. I think, you know, your refusal to admit...
Now look, how many times do I have to say this?
Hold up. Now you look. You know, it's overcomplicated and simplified math. It's just simply talking down to people or looking down your nose while you're talking down to people, kind of like you've been doing now. Mr. Morris?
I have to say, you really could learn a lot from watching Bill O'Reilly, the best interviewer ever. Never rude, never interrupts, never talks ill of people. Barbara Walters has got nothing on him. Look, I'll say it again one more time for your IQ of a houseplant mentality. The business of politics is very serious, and there's nothing that should be made light of. Those who take it seriously and make such predictions to be found anything funny about it. Let me state this for the last time. As a material fact and not as a prediction. I have never said anything fun in this context. And even if I had, I can't even be sure what that was, but I'll stand behind it, whatever it was.
Well, phew. I think I need to do another interview with you like I need a hole in the head. But we'll give you the last word and happy holidays, Dick.
Nice try, sports guy, but your Richard Nixon's euphemisms have no effect on me. And live from New York, it's Saturday night by a factor of live. Saturday Night Live!
Alright, so what'd you think? Did I do Chris Farley justice? I don't know. He would have done this so much better. But there's nobody there that could pull these sorts of skits or bits off like he would have done so well. It's just we don't have any more news to cover for today because you'll laugh. If you laughed at the skit, you'll laugh at this notion of it's taken 10 hours at least to get to this point. All right, go back to our Satsuma Samurai period music inspired. That we always start off with the POLIT'AI CHI. Alright, hey, thanks for watching, all you 9-to-5ers. This show is meant for you. I used to work, 9 to 9. Missed all the stuff on MSNBC or any other good news network for that matter. So, this show is for you. So thanks for watching. And I have to think of a name for my Katsumoto-inspired Dada Geisha doll. But a royalty-inspired doll before the Meiji Restoration. That's why she's center right and I am center left.